What is on tap in today's episode of Couz's Corner? Once again, we're talking West Virginia Mountaineer recruiting, and we're talking 4 players verbally committed for the 2023 class on the same day. Kevin Kenner from Blue Gold News rightfully labeled it Legacy Day. So pull up a chair, sit back, relax, let me serve you up this shot of college football knowledge. Let's go. What is up, college sports fans, fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? This is Couz, and welcome in to yet another edition of Couz's Corner. If you like top-shelf college football content, please hit the red subscribe button. If you haven't yet, please give me the thumbs up on this video. If you like it, please share it out with your friends, and please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this topic, which is Legacy Day for the Mountaineers, and these 4 players I'm going to talk about who verbally committed to the Mountaineers on Saturday, June 25th. And 3 of those players are legacy recruits, which means their parents also played at West Virginia. So let's talk about player number 1, the one player that wasn't a legacy player. His name is Ben Cutter. Ben Cutter is a 6'1", 210-pound linebacker out of East Lincoln High School in Denver, North Carolina. 24/7 Sports did not have him rated, but Rivals had him rated as a 3-star, and the lead recruiter on him was linebackers coach Jeff Coons. But despite not being rated by 24/7 Sports, don't let that fool you. Cutter did have another Power 5 offer, and it was from Louisville. So the Mountaineers were able to beat out Louisville for this young man's services, at least so far. His stats, his junior year of high school at East Lincoln, he had 158 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, and 1 interception. Folks, I don't care what level of football you're playing, 158 tackles is a ton. I mean, that is a lot of tackles. That means you are in on a lot of plays. It means you have a nose for the football, and this young man does. Very good nose for the ball, has great instincts. He's also fast, runs a 4.5 40-yard dash, really good speed, sideline to sideline, can chase down ball carriers when needed. And despite his size, he's stronger than he looks, folks. This young man can shed blocks with the best of them. I've watched him face guys in film that were as big or bigger than him, and he's able to get them off. He's very, very strong despite his 210-pound frame. And he plays with great leverage. And what I really love the most, he's a good tackler, but what I really love the most about this young man is his motor. This young man has a really, really high motor. He never stops. He's full speed, 100% all the time. I love it. He's just a fun kid to watch. He's going to be a fun one to watch in Morgantown. I cannot wait to see him wearing the old gold and blue and making plays because I think he's going to. He played at the 3A level in high school, so it was the second largest level in the state of North Carolina, so he's played against pretty decent competition. And like I said, he had pretty good stats his junior year. Obviously, I'd say the reason he's probably under-recruited was because of his size. He's only 210, so it's pretty small for a linebacker, especially at the Power 5 level. So I'm sure the strength and conditioning staff will put some weight on him. He can add 20, 30 pounds to his frame and really be a force to be reckoned with in the Big 12 because I think the future is bright for this young man. I really like what I see. Now let's talk about the legacy recruits. Legacy recruit number 1, Noah Braham. Noah Braham is 6'3", 225 pounds, listed as an athlete. In high school, he plays tight end and linebacker, also plays a little bit of defensive end. Was not rated by 24/7 or on 3, but I noticed Rivals did give him a 3-star rating. I think that rating may have come after his commitment because most of the articles I read said that he wasn't rated. But his junior year of high school, as a tight end, he caught 16 balls for 350 yards. He attends University High in Morgantown, so he's a local kid, only a few miles up the road from the campus. Did not have any other Power 5 offers, but did have an offer from Marshall. His dad was Rich Braham, who played offensive line at West Virginia in the early 90s. Great story is Rich Braham. Walked on at West Virginia, ended up being an All-American and going on to play 13 years as a starter in the NFL. So a great long career for Rich Braham in the NFL. Hopefully his son Noah can follow in his footsteps and be just as good of a player. Now, on to the second legacy recruit, Tory Johnson Jr. Tory Johnson Jr. is a 3-star rated wide receiver out of Oscar Smith High School in Chesapeake, Virginia. Rated the 1105th player nationally, number 151 wide receiver nationally, and the 32nd rated player in the state of Virginia. He stands 6'4" tall, weighs 210 pounds. The lead recruiter on him was Sean Reagan, who's the tight ends coach. Also had offers from East Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and Pitt. Can't leave them out. His dad, Tory Johnson Sr., played tight end at West Virginia from 2000 to 2003. Tory Johnson Jr. won 2 consecutive Class 6A state championships in the state of Virginia, so he knows how to win. He's been on a winning team. He knows what it takes. His junior year, he caught 17 passes for 316 yards and 5 touchdowns, playing both wide receiver and also a little bit of tight end. So this young man he can play close to the line, he can play in the slot, he can split out wide, play pretty much anywhere you need him to. Watched a little bit of film on him. He can high point the football. He has good hands, not afraid to run routes across the middle. Did not see teams playing a whole lot of man against him. Looked like they played mostly zone. Didn't see any press man in the film I watched. So that's, it'll be yet to be determined how good he can play against press man coverage. But I do like his length. He's got pretty decent speed. He can break away once he gets in the open field and gets past the defense. And I like the fact that he's versatile and can play any receiver position on the field. So I think this is a good player we're getting. I don't really expect him to come in and play on day one. He does need to put on a few pounds. In my opinion, a little bit lean at only 210 and 6'4". And last but definitely not least, Tory McIntyre Jr. Tory McIntyre Jr. is a 6'4", 280-pound defensive lineman out of Treasure Coast High School in Port St. Lucie, Florida. He was a 3-star according to 24/7 Sports, the 1,216th rated player nationally, the 136th rated defensive lineman nationally, and the 179th rated player in the state of Florida. Held offers from NC State, Mississippi State, Washington State, Indiana, and again Pitt. His final 3 schools, along with West Virginia, were Washington State and NC State. His dad, Tory McIntyre Sr., was on the West Virginia team from 1998 to 2001, had 171 tackles in 40 games for the Mountaineers, went on to have a pretty decent career in the NFL with multiple teams, and he played mostly fullback and I think a little bit of tight end in the league. Just going over a little bit what I saw of Tory McIntyre Jr., watched a little bit of tape on him as a defensive lineman. He's played in both 3-down and 4-down sets, so he can play the defensive tackle position and the nose position if needed. Mostly 3 technique, maybe a little 5 technique, and some 1 if needed. I really like what I saw of this young man with his hands. He uses his hands well. He's really good at getting his hands out and locking his offensive lineman up so that they can't move him. And he's just a good bull rusher. He bull rushes he don't use a whole lot of swim moves or anything like that. He just bull rushes people and uses his hands to shed blockers. And he's good at it. He's athletic for his size. He has good feet. He can use his hips to get around bigger offensive tackles when needed. I would like to see him develop more of a swim technique or something to be more versatile. I'm sure it's something he will work on. But I do like what he does with his hands and his hand placement, and he has strong hands, which I like. And I think he'll be able to come in and potentially compete for a spot day one. I really do. I think he's athletic enough and big enough to where he'll be able to compete for a roster spot or in the 2 deep on day one, or at the very least get some action on special teams. So I broke down the 4 players we got verbal commitments from on Saturday, June 25th. 3 of them being legacy players. Let me know what you think, Mountaineer Nation, about these 4 young men. Which of them are you most excited about? Which one of them, if any, do you think will be able to come in and compete for a spot in day one? I want to hear your thoughts on it. Don't forget, folks, I've got merch now, and I've got 2 brand new merch designs for you just in time for the 4th of July. Check them out on the screen right now. Celebrate your patriotism and your love for football at the same time with these 2 new merch designs while also supporting my channel. I've got T-shirts, hats, you name it, coffee mugs, cups, all kinds of different items in my merch store. Don't forget, I've also got this design on the screen now, the black design with the white lettering that you can check out. What I call the JD West Virginia design. Support your state of West Virginia pride with this design. That's also in my merch store. Link to my merch store is at the top of the description box where you can find it easily. Another way you can support me financially is by joining Couz's Corner, becoming a channel member. Join button is right below. Take advantage of the perks that has to offer. And if you want to support me absolutely free, there's 4 ways you can do that. And they're all quick and they're all easy. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to my channel, and comment below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about these 4 players for the Mountaineers and who you're most excited about. And in the meantime, I really appreciate you tuning into this video. Q Country Roads.